Hello, I am Marilyn Rubin, Distinguished Research Fellow at SPAA. For more than 40 years, yes, 40, I have worked in both the academic and practitioner worlds, always with the goal to inform and advance social equity in public policies. I began my academic career as a professor at New York University, and I began my consulting career working for the city of New York. My focus on public finance, which looks at taxes and spending, began when the city's deputy mayor asked me to direct a task force on tax policy. The objective of the task force was to look at the city's tax structure and make suggestions about how to change it to make it work better, especially for city businesses. Working on the task force, I found that most of its members were not as interested in equity as they were in what would be the impact on city revenues if we changed the tax system. This was not surprising to me, since at that time, equity in budgeting was not a focus of most public finance experts. Through the years, my interest in budgeting equity led me to my research on what is called gender-responsive budgeting. This looks at the different gender impacts of government budgets on women and men. More recently, I've expanded my research to look at questions of the impact of government budget policy on racial and other demographic subgroups. How does the city's tax policy and the government's tax policy affect different groups differently? The courses that I teach at SPAA revolve around equity, not only in budget policy, but in public policies across a number of areas, including the environment, education, transportation, immigration, and criminal justice. In my classes, I involve students in real-world issues that excite them and engage their thinking about the critical role of public administrators in advancing equity. I invite experts to speak to the students about how inequities have been created over time, what government policies have been developed to address them, and what government policies have exacerbated them. I believe that it is so important to have these discussions in these critical times. But I have been asking myself, how will I continue to teach courses about equity and justice in the new federal environment? For example, how will we talk about federal transportation legislation being enacted now and its impact on current and future generations? I think that to answer questions like this, we have to understand how inequities evolve and what government has tried to address them, and how government has added to the problem in some times. And of course, we will have to talk about what we can do now that so many efforts to reduce inequities are under threat of being dismantled. If you're interested in discussing this and in other kinds of topics, please contact us.